Lots of people, as we've mentioned earlier on, are doing whatever they can to use their skills or whatever it is they've got to try and give a little something back. And that's certainly the case of Steve Farrell and Christopher Barwise, who are members of the Norfolk Collective and got together with 20 musicians, or more than 20 musicians, to create the track Tomorrow, all in aid of raising money for the Norfolk and Norwich Hospital charity. We're going to play that in just a few minutes' time, but let's hear from the guys about exactly how it came to be. Steve and Chris, thanks very much for coming on. Lovely to speak to you both.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No problem at all. We'll start with you, Steve, and find out exactly where this all came from, though, because everyone's got their own personal reason for why they want to do it, whether they've just, amazing on a guitar and think that that's a way to do it, or whether you've got a story involving the NHS. What about you guys? How did this come to be?
So basically, I think the second week of the lockdown, me and my bandmate from Knotted, we were in full flow of doing some new songs, because what else is there to do in lockdown, of course, other than write music and create new tracks for our next album. And we decided that it was a good idea to do a song reflecting lockdown, but instead of doing it in a negative way, because there's enough negativity out there right now, we wanted to write a more positive song, something that gives hope that, one day we'll be able to hug our family and friends, we'll see our loved ones, and life will get back to normal. And we wanted something that reflected that. So we came up with a song called Tomorrow, which is the one you're going to play. And then one night it just suddenly came to me, Bob Geldof did it with Band-Aid. What about a Norfolk version of that? So I put a post out on a few Facebook groups that I'm a member of with several musicians in the area. Just put the idea out there, who would like to contribute to a song. We could do it as a Norfolk collective, many people doing vocals, taking a line each, and then other people adding instrumental parts on and just building this track, and we could do it for the NHS charities. The response was overwhelming. I couldn't have asked for anything better, and we got the response we wanted, and everyone then started to contribute to it, which was quite amazing. They were just basically sent a demo of the song, this is how it goes, and then asked to do their little individual parts, which was quite a nightmare, but that's more so, I'll let Christopher talk about the logistics of it and how that was a nightmare for him. But we got there in the end, and instead of doing it for the national NHS charities, we thought because we're a Norfolk collective, it was quite appropriate to do something for the Norfolk and Norwich Universities Hospitals Trust, because that's all local to us. Plus, what I should mention, that one of the members who did take part in the singing is currently receiving chemotherapy treatment from the Norfolk and Norwich Hospitals, and said they've been absolutely fantastic, and she wanted to do her bit for the charity as well, and we all wanted to do our bit for, the immense pressure they're under at this really difficult time, and what better way to do it through music and spreading the message of positivity.
Absolutely. Well said, Steve. Yeah, I mean, of course, plenty of other people who don't have COVID-19 or not those symptoms are also affected, their treatments as well. And, quite apt that you mentioned that as well. Christopher, you were kind of, I think I'm right in saying, in charge of pulling this all together. So how on earth did you manage to record it all? Because you've got sort of, how many people, first of all, and sort of far and wide across Norfolk?
I don't know the exact number of people, but I know that on vocals there were 10 people who sung the entire song altogether. So what that meant I had to do is I had to listen to each line that everyone sung in the song and decide which one was the best one. I had to decide if the line had to be soft or if it had to be energetic or have like a rasp to it. And I had to have the pressure of going through and selecting 10, one line from each of these 10 vocals I had in front of me.
Wow. No pressure, as you say. Yeah, people are fragile during lockdown anyway. And, let's be honest, most people who are involved in entertainment or music, got a slight bit of divishness. It all helps being part of the character. And you then had to mix it all together. So, how long did this take to do?
Well, we got a week to record all of the original stems. So everyone took their parts and they recorded them. And then I had about a week and a half to do all the production on it. And overall, in about the 2.5 weeks that it took to make the song, the track count inside of Logic is about 60 tracks. So all of it's from, instruments such as harmonica, clarinet, violin. There's lots of guitar tracks and stuff like that. So I had to go through and tenuously mix all these different elements and merge them into one song.
Wow. Okay. So quite an undertaking, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
But I did really enjoy it. It was a great experience.
Glad to hear it. Steve, what parts did you do then? Because obviously it would have been stripped back from what you're used to be doing.
Yeah, very stripped back. As Chris was just mentioned, that's unbelievable for me. And I must say that it's really strange actually hearing his voice because we've never actually met or spoke. This is the first time live on BBC Radio Norfolk.
Oh,
That's
of
unbelievable.
course. I didn't think about this. I
mean, a lot of the musicians who took part, I knew previously, but I met a lot of new people through the internet, and that was really nice. And, you know, a lot of us will probably keep in touch. But, yeah, my part was, in comparison to Christopher's, was quite simple. I was co-writer of the song, put the stripped-back acoustic demo together for everyone, and then sung, I think, a couple of lines in the final track. So that was nothing quite compared to what Christopher had to do with those 60 tracks and mixing it together.
I didn't think about this. So, Christopher, you've never met Steve, and Steve, you've never met Christopher?
No, never.
No, this is the first time hearing his voice.
Other than in the record, yeah.
Other than in the recording. But...
Yeah. Well, this is great. I mean, isn't it fantastic? That even in something like a pandemic, you can find new groups, new people that you might end up doing more projects with in the future.
Yeah, very much so, definitely.
Yeah, and all the musicians that I had tracks from, they were all just great sounding, and they're all talented musicians, and it's really great pleasure to work with them. And I can easily see myself going back to do projects with them in the future.
Absolutely. You know? It's about those connections that you make. Steve, just tell us where people can, how they can support it, if you like, and how they can see the video as well, because this is not just a record, you've also got a video.
Yeah, I should admit, I can't take credit for the video. I did have to put the video together, so that's one little thing. Still not as bad as putting those tracks together. Yeah, the video is on YouTube. You could just search the Norfolk Collective Tomorrow, or the best thing to do is just go onto justgiving.com/fundraising/Norfolk Collective. That's the fundraising that goes directly to the University's Hospitals Trust, and the music video is on there as well. And I believe it's next week. Is the 18th next week? I'm losing all track of time.
Yeah, 4 days' time, yeah.
Oh, there we go. I think it's the 18th, or it could be the week after. I'm hoping it's the 18th, and it will be on Spotify, Apple Music, and all streaming websites as well. But for now, the Just Giving page is probably the best thing to go on, because you're getting the music video, and that's the best way to donate to hit our £500 target.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, we'll just leave it to you to introduce, and then we'll hear it.
All right, yes. Thanks very much for doing this, and it's been nice talking. This is the Norfolk Collective with the song Tomorrow.
Take a breath and close your eyes. No need to isolate your mind. What's around can mesmerize. The sun will still be in the sky tomorrow. So through grass grow. Reserve your anxiety and your sorrow. The sun will still be in the sky tomorrow. The streets are empty, they're so bare. Through the window there's a light, lost in imagination. It makes everything seem right. The sun will still be in the sky tomorrow. So paint a perfect picture, watch the grass grow. Reserve your anxiety and your sorrow.
That's Tomorrow by the Norfolk Collective. Great to speak to Steve and Christopher, members of that Norfolk Collective. More than 20 odd musicians who all got together and recorded that in different places, stitched together by Christopher, organised by Steve, and they've created that record and video to try and raise money, not just for the NHS, but locally here to Norfolk as well, the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital Trust.